Ascension Parish Council, Thursday, October 7th, 2010. Our invocation tonight will be led by Ms. Angèle Desatel, the Director of Ascension Parish Library.
Good evening, gentlemen. Dear Lord, please help these individuals tonight in the task that they perform for the citizens of Ascension Parish. Please bless those who serve our country at home and abroad, and please bless the citizens of Ascension and the people of the Gulf Coast, and please keep the hurricanes away. In your name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Angèle. Our pledge tonight will be led by the Donaldsonville Oral TC Unit, led by Major Bailey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Roll call, Ms. Suzanne. Missing tonight is Councilman Dempsey Lambert, Councilman Benny Johnson. And I would like to take this time to congratulate Benny and his wife. Their daughter is in the East Ascension Homecoming Court tonight, and they're having a ceremony. So,
Excuse me. Pat, I would, if you don't mind, I'd like to thank everyone for sending me cards, prayers, email, text, voicemail, a little bit of everything this over my recovery from the accident. And I just want to thank everyone in Ascension Parish for all their prayers and everything. Thanks.
hey, Oliver. Very good. And Oliver, I do have it on my notes. I was going to say something about you. We're welcoming you back, and we are glad you're back. So,
Thank you, sir.
I don't have any chair additions tonight. Public comment period. Please sign it, Ms. Suzanne. Any item on the agenda, you'll be allowed 3 minutes. I will move right into item 5, board review. I have one speaker, Ms. Catherine Goppel.
Good evening. Every year, property owners have an opportunity to review the information on the assessed value of their property. This is a 15-day period when assessment lists are open for public inspection. Deadlines for appeals were on September 30th. This year, there were no appeals. The last reassessment of property by the assessor's office, as required by the state of Louisiana, was in 2008. Reassessments are made every 4 years. The next reassessment of property will be in 2012. I would like to take this opportunity to inform property owners about a special assessment application for persons who are 65 years of age or older. If you have a service-connected disability rating of 50% or greater, or are permanently and totally disabled as determined by a final, non-appealable judgment of a court or as certified by a state or federal administrative agency, you may also qualify for this special assessment. Your adjusted gross income must be $64,410 or less. A special assessment freezes the value or assessment of your property. This means that the value of your property shall not be increased above the total assessment shown on the tax roll in the first year that you qualify for the special assessment level. When property is reassessed every 4 years, those receiving a special assessment will not have an increase in the value of their property. Property owners will still pay taxes, but the value of their property will not be increased as long as they are residing on that property. This applies only to property receiving homestead exemption. If a new ad valorem or property tax is adopted, it must be paid, but it will be based on the property value at the time the special assessment was granted. The one-page application can be obtained at the assessor's office in Donaldsonville or Gonzales. Applicants must provide, along with name and address, birth date, social security number, and adjusted gross income reported on their federal income tax returns for the year prior to applying. Incomes must be combined if you and your spouse file separately. I would encourage all property owners who may be eligible to take advantage of this special assessment. Should you have any questions, please contact the assessor's office in Donaldsonville or Gonzales. Thank you.
The Parish Council will now sit as a Board of Review as stated in a public notice published in the official Journal of the Parish, the Gonzales Weekly Citizen, September 3rd, 2010, and September 10th, 2010, and the Donaldsonville Chief, September 2nd, 2010, and September 9th, 2010, to hear complaints of any and all persons who have filed a written appeal to the Board of Review in such matter as provided by NLARS 47:1922. I would now like to recognize our Ascension Parish Assessor, Ms. Renee Michelle.
Thank you. How y'all doing this evening?
Fine.
Yes, the assessment lists were open for public inspection as required by law from August 31st, 2010 to September 15th, 2010. And during this exposure period, all changes for clerical errors or erroneous assessments were made when necessary. And so now I do present to you the 2010 assessment list for Ascension Parish.
Okay. Ms. Suzanne, have any appeals or forms been received in regards to the property assessment for 2010? Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The council, I will now need a vote to adopt the 2010 assessment for Ascension Parish. I have a motion by Councilman Randy Cluott. I have a second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Renee.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Ms. Doppel, for that information. That's very good. I always come to the assessor's office for sure. That is absolutely available
Yes,
to
ma'am.
taxpayers, yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I don't have any presentations tonight. Our parish president report, we really have nothing on the report, President. Okay, sir. Item 8, consent agenda. Look over, please. I'll need a motion. Okay.
Proclamation that we need to do this month. That Lester,
Okay.
that's prepared. To proclaim October Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Ascension Parish. Whereas nearly 1/3 of women report being physically or sexually abused by an intimate partner in their lifetime, and studies show that 2% of women in the community are being abused or stalked at any given time. And whereas studies show that domestic violence knows no economic, ethnic, or social boundaries, and whereas domestic violence affects every family, every community, every workplace, and all intimate relationships, and whereas the Capital Area Family Violence Intervention Center has sheltered women and their children since 1981 and stands ready to help the Capital Area and Ascension Parish be safe from family violence. Now therefore be it proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim October 2010 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Ascension Parish, and urge my fellow citizens to commit themselves to the prevention of violence against women.
Okay, sir.
Good evening. My name is Kim Brown. I'm the Ascension Parish Advocate for the Battered Women's Program. I stand before you on behalf of Martha Forbes, our Executive Director at CAVIC. We are delighted to receive this proclamation. We want to urge you to keep supporting and partnering with the Battered Women's Program as we continue our endeavor to stop this epidemic of domestic violence. I put on everyone's station a flyer on Monday, this coming Monday, August 11th at 6 p.m., Jambalaya Park. We will hold a visual as we normally do every year to honor or to recognize domestic violence victims of the capital area. We invite you to come and please support this endeavor. We usually see 120 to 150 people. Mayor Arsenault will be speaking at that time, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Anything else, Mr. President? Okay, sir. Item 8, consent agenda. Look it over, and I'll need a motion, please.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Chris Lohr.
I second.
second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Item 9, proposed addition of the engineering department. Mr. President.
In the upcoming budget, we're creating an engineering department, basically to combine all engineering services that we do have into one department. We're not adding any engineers. We are going to combine the resources. We're going to do the surveying, engineering, the EITs that we have, and through the cartograph system, we're going to charge each department. Each job that's done will be charged to that department, and for whatever else that they're utilized for, they'll be charged to wherever that work order goes. And that's going to be part of the budget message, going to be part of the budget. It needs to be adopted by ordinance, so I just want to tell you that. I don't want it to be hidden in the budget somewhere and you come up in January and say you created this department without letting us know. So that's basically what it is. I also want to thank Ms. Jackie Bowman. She's moved on to the city of Gonzales, but we're going to promote Mr. Ben Laurie, who's here tonight. I don't know if any of you know him, met him, but he's been working in our planning department for some time now and does an excellent job, and he'll be working with us. So if you have any questions, engineering questions, feel free to call him.
Okay, sir. Anybody have any questions to the President?
Congratulations, Ben.
Councilman Oliver Joseph, please.
Can you provide us a flow chart of how that's going to be done?
Yes.
How the department going to be designed, and
We'll
who's going to be over that department and stuff like that?
We'll put everyone that's going to be there, and we'll get a flow chart for that department, and we'll make sure you get it before the first of the year.
Thank you.
Any
Okay,
other
sir.
questions?
Anybody else? Okay, sir. That's it on number 9. Item 10, Mr. President.
Yes, last year we went through a selection process for our auditors, and Falk and Winkler was the only one that actually submitted, and we just, it's a 5-year, we can renew it every year and engage them every year. So we're asking that we engage them for the 2010 audit.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. Next, we'll move into our grant section. Ms. Martha Collins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, President Martinez. I have several items here tonight to discuss with you for resolutions. The first one is to authorize the parish president to sign all documents and execute for the, corporate endeavor agreement with, I'm gonna stay back here. I'll talk loud. And
I don't know.
corporate endeavor agreements with the cities that we are currently working with on the community development block grant. It's a requirement that we go through and sign an agreement on who's responsible for what. So I ask that you do a resolution allowing us to do this.
I need a motion for item A, please.
So moved, Jim.
Moved by Councilman George Valentine, second by Councilman Randy Cloyd. Any discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes.
Thank you, sir. The item B is a resolution for a citizen participation plan. When we normally hold public hearings and go through the requirements for the community development block grant or any other grants that are required, under this community development block grant, they require a written plan. We followed that plan, but we had to initiate a written plan, and that's what I'm asking you here tonight, is to adopt this for all CDBG
So moved.
grants.
A motion by Councilman Ken Shakespeare, second by Councilman Randy Cloyd. Any discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes.
Thank you, sir. Item C is a ratification to amend a contract between the Parish of Ascension and the state of Louisiana. This is for the Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Grant Program. The state extended their time for this grant 1 year. So what we're asking is to ratify this contract to extend it for 1 year.
Motion.
A motion by Councilman Randy Cloyd, second by Councilman Ken Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes.
And the last item is the contract between the Ascension Parish and Church United. They are the sub-grantee to this program, and we would need a motion to extend their contract also.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, got a second by Councilman George Valentine. Any discussion? Any objection? Resolution passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir.
We'll move into our introduction of ordinance section. Ms. Tony, please.
The first ordinance is zoning review ID 2095.10, Lot 1, Magnolia Lane subdivision for Louis Lambert. It's located on the northeast corner of LA Highway 427, Perkins Road, and Magnolia Estates Road to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential to mixed-use 2.
Got a motion by Councilman Randy Cluart. Second by Councilman Chris Lower. In discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced.
This is to, number 13, and it's to reduce and revoke a 15-foot side servitude to a 13.5-foot side servitude, Northwood Lake subdivision, lot number 2. Planning Commission recommended approval to reduce drainage servitude on lot number 2 to 6 feet with stipulation of removing air conditioner unit pad out of servitude.
Move to introduce.
Got a motion by Councilman George Valentine, second by, I didn't see who it was. Councilman Adrian Thompson. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced.
This is number 14, and it's to amend Article 7, Section 11-200 of the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, obstruction of fire hydrants.
Got a motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Randy Cluart. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is introduced. Item 15, Ms. Tony, public hearing ordinance. Reading of ordinance, please.
The purpose is to revoke 250 square feet of the dedication of Slalom Way Drive, public right-of-way located in Section 34, Township 9 South, R2 East, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River. Also to relieve the Parish of Ascension Department of Public Works of all duties relating to the maintenance of this specified area of 250 square feet of Slalom Way Drive, public right-of-way. The map is attached as Exhibit A. Whereas the petitioners, the Lakes at Ascension Crossing Homeowners Association, have petitioned the Ascension Parish Council to revoke, alienate the dedication. And whereas the Department of Public Works, Engineering, and Planning have reviewed and researched said requests and have reported their findings to the Ascension Parish Council. And whereas the Ascension Parish Council, upon review of said petition, and after having considered all of the facts relevant to this request, has concluded that said dedication is no longer needed for public purposes as defined pursuant to statutory law, and therefore adopted the proposed revocation request. And the Parish of Ascension hereby ordains that it hereby concurs with the findings of the Ascension Parish Council and therefore grants approval of the revocation alienation request for the dedication of 250 square feet of a portion of Slalom Way Drive, subject to the following. Section 1. All subsurface mineral rights therein shall be retained by Ascension Parish, unless otherwise stated within this ordinance, and the parish shall reserve the right to retain any easements and/or servitudes existing at the time of revocation, and may also require the establishment of same if the parish deems it necessary. The Parish of Ascension further ordains that the Parish of Ascension Department of Public Works will no longer maintain 250 square feet of Slalom Way Drive upon passage of this ordinance.
I'll need a motion to open public hearing, please. Got a motion by Councilman George Valentine, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Anyone wish to speak on this item, please come forward. You'll be allotted 3 minutes. I'll need a motion to close by Councilman George Valentine, second by Councilman Randy Cluart. I'll need a motion to approve the ordinance, please. It's a motion by Councilman George Valentine, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Number 18, please, ma'am.
The purpose is to amend the ordinance adopted July 1st, 2010 by the governing authority in and for Ascension Parish, which levied millages on the 2010 tax roll on all property subject to taxation by the Ascension Parish Council. Whereas the Charter of the Parish of Ascension, Section 6-01, requires an ordinance for all acts that levy taxes or assessments and for all amendments to those acts. And whereas an ordinance authorizing the Parish of Ascension to levy certain millages for the 2010 tax roll was adopted by the Ascension Parish Council at the July 1st, 2010 meeting. And whereas the Parish of Ascension desires to amend the ordinance previously adopted by the Ascension Parish Council to correct a typographical error for the Lighting District Number 7 millage. Therefore, be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council, the governing authority in and for the Parish of Ascension, does hereby amend the ordinance previously adopted by revising the millage for Lighting District Number 7 as follows. Lighting District Number 7, millage 5.00.
I'll need a motion to open public hearing. A motion by Councilman George Valentine, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Anyone wish to speak on this item, please come forward. You'll be allotted 3 minutes.
Move to close, Chair.
Got a motion by Councilman George Valentine to close public hearing, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. I'll need a motion to approve the ordinance, please. Motion by Councilman Randy Cluott.
Second.
Second by Councilman Chris Lohr. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Next, I'll need, we have executive session on the agenda. That's Mr. Charles Johnson, workers' compensation claim. I'll need a motion. Councilman George Valentine. I have a second by Councilman Randy Cluott. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We will go into an executive session. Convene.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kent Shakespeare.
Move to authorize legal to settle the case involved.
Okay, we have a motion by Kent Shakespeare, second by Councilman George Valentine. All in favor? All right. Before we get to item 22, I'd like to give thanks, as always, Ms. Suzanne, thank you for putting our meeting together. Ms. Tony Falterman, Lester Kenyon, Clint Falcon, thank you all very much for putting us on the air. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Capello in the back of the room. Thank you, sir, for being here tonight. Happy birthday goes out to Todd Lambert, October the 1st. And David Matassa, October 17th. Councilman Lambert, please.
Thank you. All right. Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
A motion to adjourn by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Chris Lohr.